Hello. Sorry for the delay. But last minute paperwork nonsense. I hate that stuff. The Gothic piece got held up in their customs. This is something new that's been happening with international orders, where they want me to send an invoice basically with the shipment. I've never had this problem before, shipping internationally, and then all of a sudden, the same thing happened with the Toxic Commando piece. All of a sudden, it gets hung up. Something going on over there in Europe, changing everything on me. Anyways, just wanted to get the ball rolling on that right away. So, let's get back to simpler things like smushing clay and paint around. Okay, so we had finished up the skeleton pirates this morning. Ooh. We got to do one thing to a troll head, and then we're going to start finishing up Captain Sabretooth next, followed by the robot. That's kind of what our Mondays will just become, these kind of tying up loose ends day. Honestly, probably needed a day like that for a while. The loose ends pile can get quite burdensome. Okay. Much better. That's nice. Okay. He needs his eyepiece. Let me go grab some of that colored plastic, and we'll make the eyepiece for him. All right. Hello, cheese. I believe it was green, wasn't it green? Thaco.
Noble ally, please accept these treasures as a gift for your unwavering service to the kingdom.
Saradini, how do you do? It is green. Okay, good. Hey, thank you so much for the 27 months there, Saradini. I appreciate that. Let's see here. You are allowed to change your mind. Even maps are redrawn. True. You are allowed to change your mind. Staying malleable to change. It's important. All right, let's get you guys in here. Need a knife. Hiding stuff on you again, huh? Those little rascals. Right. Get some more of this memory wire. Right, the oven. What's up, Clayton? Okay, let's grab the glue here. And the spray. God. Okay. Hey, all good, man. It'll make it that much more special because it'll get its own whole day. I appreciate it, man. We gotta drill a hole there. Where's my drill? Ah, there you are. Enrique, from Brazil. Hello, Enrique. Good day to you, friend. I'm getting better at those little lenses. Not having to do them so much. I'd like to sculpt a little bit of epoxy clay around it. Just a wee bit. Make sure that lens doesn't go nowhere. Am I from the middle of the U.S.? I am. Right smack in the middle. That is correct. Jesus, taking one for the team. I need a little bit of alcohol. Don't we all? I had my fair share this past weekend. Back to fasting. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I really hadn't had much beer since Germany, which is in the fall. New place. Indiana. Quite a interesting choice, place to visit. Just keep driving north. You'll find it eventually there, Enrique. I appreciate you watching. Thank you. All right, we'll let that dry, and then I can just give that a nice little metallic paint. Oh, excuse me. Okay, let's set that to the side. Let's see what's next on the agenda here. Hmm. Captain Sabretooth. Oh, this has been one that's just been just like the Pirates, teetering on the edge of being finished and just needing a little push. He's got his 2 playing cards. Be happy with this camera position here. Doc's looking good. Looks like this box just needs some metal bands done. Cards need to be dirtied up. Oh, this little cigar needs to be painted. I think his eyes do too. Okay, let's see. Thanks, cheese. In Indiana. I mean, my uncle's parents are farmers in Indiana, and they definitely old school for sure. Let me grab some paper towel. Okay. some strong tone here. Thanks, Sherry. Oop. All right. He's just gonna take a nap. Just doing that test, cosplay durability test. The floor hit him. He didn't hit the floor. Yeah, most likely I will glue the cards permanently. I just need to I want to make them not so new looking. Okay, I see. Pull up some reference really quick, yeah. And saber tooth. I do. We don't really have the ideal setup for painting right now. Something we gotta rework. Hey, boot camp. Yes, it was. It couldn't have been any better, honestly. It was just awesome. Totally unexpected surprise from Mrs. Just an excellent weekend altogether. You know. Hello, Bula. How do you do? I think he's like he's asking for money. Very blue against the orange background. Yeah, it's because of the green screen. The thing about the color filter, you like. So here's my cup. This is a green cup. The color you're seeing right now is actually with the color, but if I take the green out of the scene, it becomes gray. So now this color is the color it should be. But you can't see greens and blues. And that what it is the green screen has like a reflection that can only be seen through the eyes of a camera. So it turns this into like greens and blues when it really isn't. So that's why when I paint, I have to go no filter, which lets you see the greens and blues, but then we also get this like we also get this reflected green on the whites. Okay. Yeah. Cameras and color are very complex, yeah. Much easier to balance when we're sculpting because we're working in a gray material. Okay, let me see here. I think we're going to spend most of our energy kind of dialing in the face and the hands color. I think the dock looks good. This just needs a little bit of metal on here. Yes. Let me go grab some colors and then we'll get to it. I'll be right back. Righty. Some colors here. Bit of white. Kobe holding a skull. Yeah, Kobe. Then I'd have to sculpt the skull. Might have to change that. We'd have to change the positioning of the hands as well. Not that I don't mind sculpting a skull. See that? Very good, very good. Francisco. Hello, Francisco. Yeah, hi, matey. You can talk to me here. It's fine. Unless it's something, yeah. You can message me too. Whatever you're comfortable with. Just know I'm not, I don't mind questions during live stream. You know, it's not stealing anything or not taking my focus away or nothing. I wouldn't stream if I felt it was being problematic in that way, you know. No, this is Captain Sabretooth. Oh, thanks, cheese. How dare you disturb me while I work? I've tossed around that idea, the Deagle. In fact, I'd like to get into like full-blown animatronics at some point, but haven't done it on anything yet. It's hard to make something that has a smoking element that doesn't require some form of input, you know, like also dealing with anything that heats up or anything like that. So I have to really think about, you know, if that's something I want to do. How dare you come in here and disturb my work? You know, I'm tempted to fill in his eyes with epoxy clay. I sculpted his eyes in, but I'm just not too sure I like how that's looking. Tempted to pack them with epoxy and then paint over it. And I can give him a nice side-eye look. Yeah, you know, let's just do it. Just sit on your stool. Hold on, buddy. Grill him for all he's worth. Not worth much. Question number 1 of 50. What's the most preferable beginning clay in your opinion? I'm swaying towards medium monster. What you think? I think you should sculpt with the medium you want to sculpt with. So, what I'm saying is, if making one-of-kind original characters, like what I'm doing here, out of polymer clay is what you want to do, then you should work with polymer clay, because there's certain ways that the material works that is different from the other clays, you know, and you want to become familiar with that stuff. So monster clay is cool because you can reuse it over and over again, which seems nice. But if it's not the medium you want to be working in, like if you're not going there's like, okay, imagine like your clay is like a skill tree in a game, right? And if you want to go the route of the monster clay skill tree, that leads towards mold making. What is that? It's a treasure train. Yeah, treasure. Does that make sense? So like when you make a sculpture out of monster clay, to create a finished tangible sculpture that you could ship somewhere or sell or whatever, you need to mold and cast. So that is the route you would be going down with monster clay. Not saying you couldn't learn anything valuable and then transition later. I just think it's better just to jump right into your okay. Yeah, you're in the UK, yeah. So I can see the appeal for that if you're in the UK, just because you can just reuse the material over and over again. You don't have to worry about that super high, expensive cost every time you want to get material. Yeah, maybe just start with monster clay and just don't worry so much about casting or creating anything finished until you've really sharpened the skills, you know, which I know can be difficult because a lot of the times it's like these little wins that kind of add wind to the sails of continuing. But yeah, Patricia's got a good link for UK cost clay. I wouldn't get Sculpey. I definitely wouldn't. I would say go for monster clay over Sculpey, in my opinion. But let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna get some epoxy clay. Yes. Well, you know what? Let's just use some of this epoxy clay. Yeah, I've seen corpse bride. Tim Burton-ish. That's true. Yeah, you can get cosplay as long as you don't bake it. You can keep reusing it over and over again too. And then at least you're working, because there's a different texture to the different materials and different ways you kind of have to work with the different materials. So this is why I think, you know, just working with whatever route you want to go. Because, so with working with polymer clay, you have the option to bake the piece, create a finished product in which you can ship, you know, sell, put on display, paint, you know, and you can do one-offs. But you can still mold and cast the clay too. So it's like you're not limited. Whereas with monster clay, you're limited to, you can only make finished work with casts. So yeah. Well, let's say realistically, for a sculpture like that, you could probably get by with one box of cosplay. Oh man, Bula.
Directly to the cnotbusch.
Right that way, sir.
Which direction is that?
Is Super Sculpting really expensive in the UK? It's $14 for 8-ounce brick of gray. Oh my goodness.
Would someone please direct me to the
Treasure training it up. What's going on here? Oh my god. Discount unlock. Wait, what even is this?
Someone please direct.
All right, who hacked Bula's account? What's going on here?
Which direction is that?
Spare a coin for an old beggar.
Who hacked Bula's account? Keep pushing the button, babe. Keep hitting it. Hold on, she's getting back into her account now. Hurry up.
Would someone please direct me to
Just a
the
few more times.
cnotbusch kingdom?
Bula got the moolah. Whoa, thank you so much there, Bula. And Fenrir, thank you guys. I don't know what this treasure train is. Safety. Okay, it's just like a discount thing.
Which direction is that?
I don't know. Yeah, more treasure for me. Thank you very much there, Bula, for the generosity. That's very, very kind of you. I very much appreciate that. Bula. All right. Fenrir getting in on the action.
Could someone please direct me to the cnotbusch kingdom?
What is this?
Which direction is that?
Dark tainted. Thank you very much.
Let it be known throughout the land. New champions have been welcomed by our honored recruiting hand.
Deagle, get in on that discount. Thank you so much, Dark Tainted. Welcome, and thank you. And Mr. Deagle, 5 gifted. Thank you so much, man. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Many lose their way not by choosing poorly, but refusing to choose at all. Yeah, that's true. Many lose their way not by choosing poorly, but by refusing to choose at all. Make choices, make mistakes, and learn from them. This is the way. Thank you so much. Dark Tainted. Bula. All right.
The strength of the cnotbusch kingdom lies not in our walls,
Mr.
but in
Deagle.
our people.
Fenrir. Thank you guys so much.
war.
Odin the Bearded One. Thank you so much for the raid. Questionable bearded raid. All right. I'm suspicious. But isn't not choosing a choice in itself? I suppose so. Oh my goodness.
Someone please direct
What's
me to
going
the
on?
cnotbusch kingdom. Which direction is that?
What is going on there, Bula?
Could someone please direct me to the cnotbusch
Bula's
kingdom?
hacked the system.
Which direction is that?
Yes. The Bezos money funnel has begun.
Could someone
We have to do it in
please
1,000
direct me
bitty
to the
increments so they don't
Made
catch
a
on.
real
That's the trick.
impact on the realm.
direction is that?
Thank you for your contribution.
Could someone please direct me to the
Oh my goodness.
cnotbusch kingdom?
Bula.
Which
Jeez
direction is that?
Louise. Boral getting in on that. What's up, Boral? Thank you for the 1 year, man. I appreciate that.
Could someone please direct me to the
That poor
cnotbusch
traveler is so tired. Look at his legs.
direction is that?
He's so tired. Bula just keeps making him walk. Well, welcome in, Odin. You came in at a very particular time here. Just joining the chaos here. Skinny legs. How you doing, Saint? Mr. Boral, let me get you your wisdom. And thank you so very much, Bula. Seriously. I appreciate that. Let's see. Oh. This one doesn't want to come out. There's a cork stuck in there with the scroll. Hold on. Let's just get in here and carefully extract. Ah. Wisdom better be worth it. Seek the company of the wise, for wandering with fools turns even bright days dim. Seek the company of the wise, for wandering with fools turns even bright days dim. Be mindful of who you keep in your company. You kind of become those who are around you. That's right. So what were you up to this evening, Odin? Thanks again for coming in here. We're kind of finishing up a bunch of different various things. I really need to get this clay inside these eyes really quick, though, before it starts to harden on us here. I have to fill his eyeball holes with some epoxy clay. Decided I don't want sculpted in eyes. I want to paint them in. Bula's been making it rain.
Charity wallets. Nice. Are they like the proceeds are going to charity, or how's that work? All right. All right, thank you for the biddies there, Mr. Deagle. Little tippity top. Little tippity tip on top. Next one. What are the must-have, no compromise sculpting tools you swear by? This is one of them. So this is, if you look up, there's a wax carving set of tools. I need more alcohol. If you look up wax carving tool set, you'll find some metal tools with various ends. That's where this one comes from. I will say tools are very much personal preference type of thing, though. So, you know, the ones that work for me might not even be ones you're interested in. So you just gotta, you know, get like a nice multi-pack with a bunch of different things. Kind of start with that. You'll start to notice yourself kind of gravitating towards certain things. This is probably this one I use a lot. This is like this is just a clay shaper. So it's for smoothing clay around and pushing it, moving it, like general shaping. This one's more for like detail work, line work, flat surfaces, yeah. Ball styluses are nice for you know, all kinds of various read. I would get a set of ball styluses with like the different size balls at the end of the tool. A nice X-Acto knife with a bunch of extra blades, so you can always have a sharp blade. Good. Something like this with like this is a palette knife that I use for, it's like a flat metal surface for doing all kinds of different things. I use that quite often. What's a cheese spreader? It might be a cheese spreader, actually. I got this as a gift from this old guy named Boone. He handed me a random mason jar with a bunch of random objects inside of it. Said, "Here, I thought you might like these." And literally every single one of them looked like it had been owned for like hundreds of years prior, and every single one of them had extreme value. They're very useful items. Those old guys, they know what's up with like what's considered a good tool. Boone wasn't a sculptor, but he was a tinkerer. He tinkered with like small engines and stuff like that. The guy even looked like a gnome. He had like big, huge mustache. Always wore funny hats, you know. Big, huge mustache. You could bring like any sort of small motor his way, and he'd just like tinker on it and get it working like that. Actually, funny thing. So, I moved here. I think about 7 years ago, I moved here to this place. Kind of started rebuilding my life here. And when I first pulled in, I had nothing. So I needed to get like a lawnmower and stuff like that. Well, right when I pulled into this area that I live in, there was an old guy selling lawnmowers for like $60 a piece. He would go and find them like out on the side of the road, or get them from a scrapyard or wherever he got them, and he'd fix them up and sell them for real cheap. So I bought this mower for like $60, and I've had it, no joke, for 7 years, and it's run not like every season, no problems whatsoever. I never did any maintenance on it. I even left it outside in the wintertime, didn't cover it or nothing. I'm telling you, I was like total zero maintenance whatsoever. I was so surprised it was running as long as it did. Well, anyways, this year I was like, okay, this is probably gonna be the year. I just kind of had a feeling that this one would crap out, and I'd go back to the guy to get another one for like $60, you know. Well, it does. I'm putzing around with the lawnmower, and all of a sudden,
The strength of the cnotbusch
hey,
kingdom lies
Kantar.
not in our walls, but in our people.
You just came in for story time. Welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. What a... Welcome in, welcome in. So anyways, sure enough, I'm putzing around with the lawnmower recently, and it starts sounding real funky, like something was going wrong, and then sure enough, it puckered out and died, like started running real rough and died. I was like, oh boy, okay, here we go. I go in the back, I'm like talking to my wife about it, and then by the time I come out to the front, old man Bob's over for some reason. He came over to have you been putting oil in it? Well, okay, I'll get to that. Okay, I'll get to that part of the story. So I'm like, oh hey Bob, just in time. Mower stopped working. It's done. I was like, it's pretty much, I bet it's done. He's like, oh, let me see that, because he's just like old guy Boone. Like, he's the small engines guy, you know. So he starts looking at it and, like, you know, lifts it up, and he says, give it a pull for me. I go to pull, the pull start, solid, like nothing moving. I was like, oh man, it like fused together. He opens up the oil cap and sees how dark it was. He's like, when's the last time you put any oil in this thing? I'm like, never. Oh, I gotta do that with this? So, of course, he laughs, runs back over to his house. He lives like 2 houses down, grabs like a few objects. One of them being a big giant can of old school diesel oil. And he has me tip it up and holds it and makes like a little makeshift like oil pan out of this jug, and like undoes the oil tray, you know, like change out the oil. And he has me tip it down to let the old oil kind of come out. Not one drop of oil came out of that thing. He's like, this is the first time this has ever happened to me, that not a single drop of oil came out of him. So he grabs the blades at the bottom and like gives it a hard like thunk, and you see saw like almost like smoke coming off a little bit. And hold on one second. Then he puts oil in it, plugs it all back up, and then he says, all right, fire it up. He puts his like old school, like super old diesel oil in it instead of like any of the modern stuff. And yeah, I primed it and pulled it twice, and it started right back up. It was running like brand new, like as if nothing happened. So it looks like I'll get another 7 years out of it here. I think this time I might actually put some oil in it a few times here or there. He says, yeah, he's like, they designed these motors to be really loose, so like they can, as long as they don't like fully fuse together. It's crazy. Just thought I'd tell you that story. I was so impressed by I went from one moment of thinking, oh, I need to get a new mower, to Bob just randomly showing up and fixing it in like 10 minutes. Good to go. Back in business. Let me get a tissue here. No, Bob, I don't steal leaves from Bob. Bob's the one of the neighbors that actually brings me like grass clippings and leaves and wood, like randomly, just like chopping down trees. And he just comes over one day. He's like, "Hey, I got some maple dropped out back for you." Well, yeah, thanks, Bob. And every year, no joke, every single year, Bob has given me a garden tool, a very unique item. It's like a yearly thing. He just, beginning of the season, he comes over, he hands me some random garden tool that I've never seen before. It's always the same thing. It's got like the darker colored wood handle, and it's always extremely like useful. Like it's the type of tool you get that you just like start using all the time in the garden. It's like, man, these Bob tools are awesome. Such an interesting guy. I've gotten a lot of random stuff from Bob over the years. Yes, he got me one of these. I have a few random objects in the. This is one of those hard hat safari hats. Going on a safari. A pith helmet, yeah. This is the kind of stuff Bob comes over with randomly all the time. It's like, "Hey, you want this?" I'm like, "Yeah, yes, I do. I'll take that." Have any other random Bob things in reach here? A lot of them find their way outside. I think that's the only one I have in reach. You get the idea. Do you wear it gardening? No, I don't. It's more for decoration. Japanese weeding sickle. Let's see. With the long handle. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I have something similar. It's a folding sickle. But it's not a long one, it's a short one. Well, so Bob, he's such an interesting character. He collects and restores cast iron pans and stuff. So he's got like just an insane collection of cast irons. And he's given us a few real unique cast irons before. Real unique items. Certain shapes and stuff that you just never seen before. He had gotten this giant cast iron kettle. Like, I'm talking like witch's pot type of kettle. And he was restoring that last year. He's found it in somebody's yard, buried in someone's yard. They were using it as like a decoration or something like that, which apparently was common. But back in the day, they used to have these giant kettles that people would make, soup for the whole neighborhood out of and stuff. Stone soup. All right, let's see. Let's actually get some work done. Story time taking over. Let's see. Let's do whites of the eyes here. into blacksmithing. You have a setup you're looking to get into, or getting rid of? What do you got? What kind of setup we talking about here? Because if you got one of those hand crank forge dealies, I'd definitely be interested in that. And Manuel. Oh. Yeah, because I have a big chunk of railroad track that my dad got me. That was it's been my makeshift anvil. That's one of those things I've been wanting to get into, but there's just like no time for it. Always falls to the wayside. I'm sure it's the same situation for you. Hand crank forge has a new bowl for Ooh, Ooh, that's tempting. Yeah, because I mean, you could stop at know somebody, and I could just say no, because I don't know nobody. I don't know nobody. Boral. I sculpted a lot of League characters, especially a long time ago. What was my most recent ones? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember. Nothing too recently. It's all older work. But there was a lot of League stuff back in the day. It'd be cool to get back into the League. There was like just a phase of tons of League projects, and I think it was just because I was buzzing a little bit on social media during that time as someone sculpting League characters. So I got a lot of traction because of that. So. Mounted on a stump already. I'm tempted to hit you up for that, Mr. Boral, but I just know it'd probably be you handing it over to me with me having the utmost intention to use it and get into it. And then it'll just fall to the wayside. I have a mediocre enough setup that I should be using already, So. But it is tempting. It really is. I know the value of such things is good. It's good. It's not easy to find like good anvil and stuff. No. Now I have to do it because Saradini told me no. I have to say yes, just to show Saradini. You don't tell me. Could put the anvil in a mason jar and pass it along to some youngin' someday. Right? Here's a mason jar of random objects. One giant anvil included. Oh, he gave me a rug too. So it was, it was a mason jar of random tools, a mason jar with some sort of solvent in it. I think alcohol or something, isopropyl alcohol, and then a rug. Yeah. I would just keep asking around, Boral. I'm sure somebody, it's not like it's not going bad or nothing. So it's only a matter of time before you find some young aspiring, time-free buck that, you know. Jar of random objects, jar of solvent, rug. Jar of dirt, no dirt. No jar of dirt. It'd be funny, wouldn't it? All right, let's see here. Time to do the eyes. What's the name of that blue that's in his hat and clothes? There's not blue in his hat and clothes. There's a little bit of like a light or grayish color and black. It's just the way the color filter looks right now. That's more like how it should be right there. Yeah, it's just the reflection of the green screen making things look blue. Yeah, but it doesn't match the character. There's a specific character called Captain Sabretooth. You can look him up. It's a Norwegian pirate character. Oh. Not blue. Bit of black. Hey, what's up, Hollow? Do I have a minute? I do, yes. Sure. Oh, you want me to take a look at some work you've done? Is your practice paying off? I don't know. Is it paying off? Do you feel your skills growing? But the feeling of growth does take time. It's not a quick thing. It's just like if you remember when you were younger and you were growing, it's always happening, but it's like so subtle that you don't realize it is until you like go to a family event and everyone's like, "Man, look at how big you got." And you realize it's always constantly happening. It's just slow enough that you don't notice it. Here's the reality. You're never going to arrive at a destination when it comes to growing a skill like drawing, sculpting, anything like that. There is no destination. The growth, the pursuit of the skill is always there, or at least it should be. You're always going to be exploring, traveling. Let me take a look. Let's see here. Okay, so it looks good. I think what you need to do now is right now you've developed a little bit of a comfort zone, and you're doing the same kind of pose and same kind of content, meaning this like the female figure in a static standing pose. So I think you've definitely displayed you have a good understanding of that. So what you need to do now is we're gonna go step outside of that comfort zone, and you should start experimenting with different poses and different body types, you know. And that is what will cause you to grow the most. And you're gonna hate it. It's gonna be uncomfortable. You're not gonna be happy with the work that you produce, but you have to face that, you know. Because I'm speaking from personal experience. We like to stay in our comfort zones because we can produce a good result, but we have to stop being attached to the results and start being attached to the growth that comes from the work that you're doing. Because the results don't really, like right now, this image, the results don't really matter. What matters is how much you grew from doing that thing, you know. That's the part that stays with you. That's where the real value is. So really hone into that and start, instead of creating images to get attached to, you need to create skill up, basically. Where can I get the most experience gain, essentially? And usually it's the thing you're avoiding or not wanting to do, you know, creatively, with like the particular type of character or particular part of the body. Like there's always these areas that you just kind of know you're not really comfortable with, and you always try to get away from it. And we have to rewire our brains to run towards those things instead of away from them. So that's my challenge to you, is to start branching into different things, drawing different things. Could just be, if you like the subject matter, just experimenting with different poses, you know, different positions, learning foreshortening, stuff like that. Right. And it really starts to develop your like mind around something, you know, the more kind of different ways you can make it, you start to have a higher understanding of it, you know. So perspective and dynamic poses. Yeah. You can go any direction you want. Just start branching out. So.
Well, I normally don't take coin for magic, but this is a special case.
Anxious. Am I saying that right? Anxious. Hey, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. What's going on with this evening here? So much generosity. Thank you guys so very much. Thank you, Anxious, for lurking, and thank you so much for that generous tip. Appreciate that. Thank you very kindly. I hope I'm not butchering your name. Draw the same pose, but spin the character around. Yeah, right. That's true. Same pose, but the camera angle from like an orthographic perspective, you know, or something like that, you know. Did you? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was gonna get some steak. I was gonna get a steak for the grill to try out the new grill. Me and Emma, we had already gotten all our shopping done, and you know, I was gonna do burgers, so I was like, you know, I got some burgers, but I was like, you know what, let me get I'm gonna get a T-bone steak. I'm gonna fire it up on the new grill. It's $25 for a T-bone steak. I was like, heck no. We'll put that back. We'll put that back on the shelf there, so that can stay there. It's like $19 a pound or something like that. It's crazy. I'll stick to the burgers for now. Let me see here. $25. All right. Oh my goodness. Hey, thank you so much there, Boot Camp. $50 tip from Boot Camp over on YouTube side. For steaks and new barbecue or towards the Bugatti fund. That's the Bugatti fund. Don't talk about food, you're so hungry right now. Oh man. All right, I'll resist. Grilled corn on the cob it is. Oh man. Go dig up some potatoes out of the garden and throw those on the grill. Grilled potatoes yet again. Nah, I'll just wait. I'll just wait till the T-bone steaks are on sale. Then I'll get some. Yeah, thank you so much there for the generosity there, Boot Camp. And Anxios. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Leftover Chinese burrito. Next day burrito. Finland. I actually thought of a question for you. Is there any reason you picked matte varnish finish versus the shiny? Does it look better? It looks better. Yeah. Shiny finish looks like it just doesn't look very good unless in very certain specific areas, I think, personally. Most things in reality are actually matte finish, you know. When you look at the world around you and pay attention to what things actually have a glossy finish, you know. Clothing, you know, most of the stuff you see is going to be matte finish. Except for certain things like metal, you know, some metal is really shiny, got a shiny finish, or things that are wet, you know, have like a glossy, shiny finish. You know, something that's supposed to look like glass. But most things like clothing and all that stuff's got, unless it's like some sort of like leather, like shiny leather or something. But even then, you know, it's a scale issue too, because like you can look at things in reality that have a shininess to them. For example, like you see that book back there? This is a leather book, and up close, it has a shininess to it, right? Up close. So I could think, if I'm making that book on a small scale, I could think, oh, well, it's got a shiny finish in real life, so I'm going to give it a shiny finish when I paint it. The issue is when I'm sitting back this far and I'm looking at this book across the room, do I see the shine? So if the answer is yes, I do see it, the shininess of it from across the room, then I would probably do glossy finish. Because that's the thing you gotta think about, is like the scale factor, you know. Something's really close, and looking at them really close have a glossy finish, but that doesn't mean from across the room you can see that glossy finish. And that's what you have to think about when you're making those decisions with the painting. At least I think so. Like from across the room, that glass jar right there, I can see that it has a shiny finish from across the room because it has that reflectiveness to it, you know. Yeah, and there's also the fact that just because something is like shiny or glossy in reality doesn't mean it's going to look good on a sculpture. And that's what we're making. We're not making realistic. We're not mimicking reality. We're making sculptures inspired by reality. But at the end of the day, it's a sculptural piece that you want in itself to look good. You know, the objective is that it looks good as a sculpture, not it's a scientific, accurate model to reality. You know what I mean? So, what first got you interested in sculpting way back when? I have the book around here somewhere. I was actually, so when I was younger, my grandmother, who's a painter, and she's a children's librarian, would take me and my siblings to the Art Institute in downtown Chicago each, like every year almost, sometimes multiple times per year. And she started to notice that while we were there, I was starting to be more interested in wanting to see like the sculptural exhibits over the painting, because you know she was interested in the painting. And so she bought me a book when I think I was about 10 years old. She bought me a sculpting book. She would always give us gifts like when I was younger, like like probably from the age of like 6 up, going to the Art Institute. And then so during normal gift giving time, she would always give us activities or books or things that were like kind of help grow our interests. Not just me, but all my other siblings too. Same thing. She would always get books first. it was always one of those things like, grandma got us books again, you know. Books and clothes. That's clothes were more of the gift for mom than for us, but anyway, she got me a book on polymer clay sculpting, and I got some clay and I started to learn some of the techniques shown in the book, and that's what really hooked me. Was this it's this thought. You have this thought of sculpting is like you start with a giant block of something and you like chip away at it or carve it away, even clay, until it's what you want it to be. But this book showed this other way of looking at sculpting, which is you take lumps of clay and you smush them like the shape of the cheek, and you smush it on there, and the shape of the nose, and the eyelids are like, you start with eyeballs and then you create flat pieces to be the eyelids, and then you do eyebrows, you know. This idea of like layering pieces instead of like this negative approach where you're removing material, you're actually adding material. And I just remember back then that like totally blew my mind, you know. It's like, oh wow, I never thought of that. And that gave me this kind of this right, adding instead of removing, exactly. So like you know, it's this concept of yeah, like it's actually I think most of that book would teach things like totally an additive approach, where you start with like a head shape like this, and then, you know, and it laid it all out in like easy steps. You do like indentations for the eyes, and it was like a caricature style book, so it wasn't like super realistic. And then you did like, but like easy enough that anyone could really follow along, you know. You do the eyes. And then, you know, you do the eyelids like this. Just this whole concept right here is just something, and I see it with other people too, like when they start getting into sculpture, that it's just not something you think about, of like to build something with like an additive method, you know. And then you got the nose, and then I remember it showed the lips, and you do same idea. You do like just like a flat piece for the lip, like this. Then you do this little croissant shape for the cheek. Anyways, so I gave this like step-by-step recipe for building just like a basic character head in this like way. And I took that, and I would just sit around and sculpt little heads. I even showed like a friend how to do it, and we would just sit around and sculpt like little character heads, following that. You follow that formula, and then you experiment with like different types of heads. And actually it's funny because the way that it teaches you how to build the head in that book, you're able to like you know, you could squish the head, and because it's all like layered clay, let me show you. So you'd make the head, and then you'd squish it, and it like kind of like, because it's all shaped as separate pieces, the way it moves is like you can really just like alter the character that way, you know. And you just just have fun, like squishing these little guys, you know, turning them into little old people, you know. Grumpy old people. But yeah, so then when I learned that, I remember I was hooked with sculpting for a little while. But then it just, you know, then it just fell to the wayside and went on with doing other normal just kid stuff. But I always stuck with me this formula that I learned, and then I applied it many times. So it was like in my brain now, you know. And then later on down the road, I would have certain scenarios, like in school projects or stuff like that, that I would be able to call upon this formula or this skill that I learned. And it always led to the thing I was doing being very successful, you know, being armed with this like secret knowledge, you know. So I'd get a class project to sculpt something or something like that, and then I'd be able to use this formula that I had, but not everyone else in the class had, and it just made the work stand out, you know, which made me want to pursue sculpture even more, because it's like this feeling of being good at something, you know. It's like we're all seeking that thing that we can be good at, especially when you're younger. And so I always think about how having the right information can really it can create that type of snowball effect, you know what I mean? How many kids started to sculpt without this type of methodology or this way of thinking about it, this practice of just adding these layered clay shapes, you know, which it's not difficult. Anyone can do that, you know. If I show you the steps, everyone could grab clay now. I could show you the steps and you could produce it, you know, and then you have that information too. But how many kids didn't have those steps and probably would have gotten into sculpting or whatever else, but without having that information, you know, like just never really stoked the flames, if you will, you know. I always wonder about that stuff. Plays an important role. I think that's what's really drove me to always try to share my process with people as much as I can, because I know being a self-taught person, I still remember what it's like to not know those things, you know, and then to realize them, you know, and be like, oh, game changer. I still, to this day, we discover new things all the time. New methods. It's always amazing to me too that like something that could take me years and years to figure out, I could package it into an information packet and just give it to somebody else, you know. That's really how it works. And then they can have, it's like a step, it's like they can be stepped up further along the path. Not all the way. There's still footwork that has to be done by each individual, but there's a good amount of kind of like hurdles you can get over just with having the right technique. How would you do a piece of silk? Mm-hmm. Like fairy wings. Oh, something that's really thin. Mm-hmm. Well, there's all kinds of different ways to approach something like fairy wings. It's definitely a very technical thing. If they're like butterfly wings, I think the best thing to do is to try to sculpt them onto some sort of flat material for the structure, and then you sculpt both sides of it, like even a piece of cardstock. You know, like this this card right here. You could use this as armature. But if they're transparent, if they're see-through, then you have to approach it differently. So you would kind of get the silhouette of your wing design on this card and then duplicate it so you have two of them. And then maybe glue down some wire armature. If they're like the see-through buggy wings, yeah, maybe some sort of like plastic sheet that you use UV resin to actually sculpt the surface, like the texture of the wing. You put UV resin on there and you kind of push it around with a tool and then lock it into place, something like that. Like a non-clay approach for sure. Or if you do make it out of clay, you maybe like mold it and cast it in a translucent material. Okay. Eyes are really fighting me here on this one. Oh. The problem with using real fabric on like a sculpture is its scale, because like say you're using silk to represent silk on a smaller character, it's not going to read as well as it would, because the fibers are bigger than they actually should be. So one way you can use like a, say like a normal cotton fabric can look like a burlap material scale wise on the sculpture, you know. So okay. Yeah, I mean, usually a lot of the clothing things are just sculpted on there, and you just have to study reference to see kind of how the wrinkles go and how that fabric looks. And it's just something to learn through reference. Use some of this rosy shadow for the eyelids. Most difficult, any sort of like patterned texture. You know, there's textures that aren't just textures, but they're like intricate, like swirls or woven type of things, you know. Jeez. Oops. The entire Banisher's piece. I mean, but there, okay, on the Banisher's piece, it just shows that there are ways to develop tools to make jobs easier, you know, like, let's see. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. Like I made a special tool just to make this certain texture on his coat. Let's see. Let us go back in time. Here. Which one do I show it? Oh, right here. So I made a special little like V-bent wire tool so I can do this particular kind of coarse looking texture. All right, here goes the jacket. Shape it. All right, here we go. Oh. Oh, there we go. There it is. See that? Little sample. I'd say probably my scale work is what takes the most like technical knowledge to do, but to me it flows pretty naturally. But I think for somebody else coming into it, it'd be very difficult. Let's see if I have a good scale making one. Some like stuff like this. The dragon. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. Been a semi-distracted evening, but hey, worthwhile distractions. Thank you guys so much for all the support this evening. We'll pick this back up on next Monday. I'll get a nice full session in on him next Monday. Probably might be able to just push him into the finish line next Monday, actually. Then we got the Skeleton Pirates finished earlier. We got Falco's little eyepiece on there. No, it's good. It's good. I needed it to be a distracting evening for sure. I have the cards, yeah. I started to stain them. I got 2 little aces here. Just need to adjust the color of them. It's got pocket aces. But yeah. I'm gonna get out of here. Tomorrow morning, I won't be on stream because I have to go and drop my car off at the mechanic at 9 o'clock. So that'll be a big shift in the day. But I will be back on in the evening, and we'll be working on the portrait sculpture that we've been working on. So we'll continue that. What else we got? Nothing really else. Pretty laid back week, just to get back into the groove of things kind of week. So yeah, for real, PT, anytime you want to come in here and ask questions, I'm more than happy, and that goes for anybody. More than happy to answer, chit chat with you guys. So all I can do is share my experiences and help somebody out there. Just like I'm sure people have shared their experiences with me and has helped me, whether consciously or subconsciously. Never know. Don't tell me that. I'm telling you. Just like the wisdom said. Surround ourselves with wisdom and not foolery, right? Okay, let's see. Let's find someone to raid. Hey, Mr. Deagle. Have a good night. Have a good night, Mr. Deagle. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Cheese. Thank you very much. Let's check the art category. Oh boy. They're called card altar. Oh, there's some sculpture. Oh, hey, it's Charles. Mr. Charles is doing some sculpture. Let's go rate him. Mr. Charles doing some sculpturing. He's a crazy guy. You've been warned. Amazing artist, though. Amazing artist. Crazy guy. Maybe you need to be both. Maybe one makes the other. To reach his level of artistic ability, you must go crazy. Okay. There we go. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.